So we're live. Okay, well, welcome to week 2 of AskTuminds, and apologies for being 7 minutes over time, and it was due to the fact I had another webinar which was supposed to end way before 3 o'clock, but it took a little bit longer. It's all webinars nowadays. Everybody is busy with webinars online and all that sort of stuff. So apologies for that, but welcome back for people that have joined us on the first AskTuminds live on Facebook last week. Normally we're on at 2 o'clock, but like I said, I had another meeting, so it's on 3 o'clock today. But hopefully next week we'll put it back to 2 o'clock. Tuminds at 2 o'clock. AskTuminds is quite a good title. So welcome back. My name is Renier Looper, and founder and managing director of Tuminds. And we are delighted that you joined us again. We'll give people some time to join a little bit later as well. Maybe they might have left after seeing at 3 o'clock. Nobody was there, so hopefully people will come back. Joining me today again is Alistair. Alistair, say hello.
Hey guys, how's things?
And Emma.
Hello, how are you all?
Cool. Hope you all had a good Easter. Emma and
yes.
Oh, sorry. Yes. I'm looking at the chat to say I don't see anyone. Yeah, a different Easter is probably the best way to put it.
Yeah, a different Easter. Yeah, definitely different Easter. For sure.
Not as much chocolate as normal.
No, I know. Although we did manage to get some chocolate eggs, little ones, in the house. So welcome back, and we're going to deal with the questions that you've asked us throughout the week. We've been sharing the hashtag AskTuminds a couple of times last week on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and the team has been very good in creating lovely visuals on Instagram and Instagram stories. We've got some reactions on that as well, and on Facebook and Twitter, etc. So well done, Alistair and Emma, and you both are responsible for that. So well done. And we've got a couple of questions regarding video apps, about webinars online, and I think a last-minute question came in 5 minutes ago before we started. I think Emma mentioned. So. If I can start with the first question that came in actually last week, and if Pamela, who is assisting me on Facebook Live, can have a look if John is available. Has John logged in? John Murray, because he said last week I don't see any cake. And we still don't have any cake because, you know, it's a lockdown. We can't go out to get cakes. It's not one of those sort of priority items. However, I have a Dutch biscuit. So.
Oh, that's not the same.
Yeah.
That's not the same.
Not the same, I know.
I don't even think I have anything.
It's the best I can do just now. But John had a question, apart from not having a mention about the cake. John had a question about, I'm going to read it up here actually. How do we get our messages across to the right people when the people who are looking to communicate are on different channels? So some people are on LinkedIn, some people are on Facebook, on Twitter, Instagram, and especially for John, he's focusing on business leaders. They're on some platforms like LinkedIn. You would expect them there, but they're obviously hanging out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well. So. What is the best way to sort of get your message out to the right sort of people? And just to emphasize again what we always say in our workshops and in our webinars now, you know, you need to optimize your content for the right platform and the right audience on that platform. So LinkedIn obviously is very much business orientated. So, you know, don't share your holiday snaps, obviously, on LinkedIn, although some people do. But that's not a platform to do it. So think about what sort of audience are hanging out on LinkedIn, what sort of audience is hanging out on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, and optimize it for that platform. And that means not every message, not every bit of content should go to all these platforms. Some of it can, but in different sort of formats. Hashtags, for example, we get asked that question quite a lot. Hashtags not on Facebook. LinkedIn is actually pushing the hashtags, the use of hashtags. If we do something on LinkedIn with the content, we always put the hashtags at the bottom of the content, so it's not right in your face there in the content, but we do use them. Facebook, no hashtags. Twitter, 2 or 3 hashtags, and Instagram, you can go up to 30 if you like, a lot more in these things. So, and it's also the drip feeding. So not every content should go out on the same day at the same time to all these platforms. On LinkedIn, maybe today at 4 o'clock, tomorrow at 10 o'clock tweets, on Facebook 3 or 8 o'clock in the evening on a Wednesday, for example. So I think doing it that way will definitely get you more sort of the best sort of reach for those platforms. I think going to all your, because people might go to your website, you see the Facebook link, you see the Twitter link, you see the Instagram link, and if they click on the links and they see the same content over and over, that's not very exciting. So you need to sort of drip feed it in that sense. So hopefully, John, that made sense. And obviously, you know, look at the data you're getting back as well, try things out. And if you get a lot of engagement on LinkedIn, try to do it again, maybe in a different sort of format. If you don't get the engagements, try to do it differently. So
can I jump in for a second as well, Rennie? Following on from what Rennie was just touching on there, some of us may have found that at the moment we have a little bit more time on our hands. So this for me is when I'm kind of thinking people should be checking their insights, their data to say, who are the people we really want to target? What platforms are they on, and how well do we perform on these platforms? Are we actually, as Rennie said, getting engagement on them? That in my head, you're almost better to do 2 or 3 platforms well than to do 4 or 5 poorly. So try and use this time to really develop the platforms that either you want to establish yourself on, or that your customers or thought leaders in your industry are on, that you want to be more visible with as well. And that's where you can also do things like your competitor analysis to look to see what your potential customers or competitors are using, so that you can start to build more of a strategy as well.
Absolutely, fantastic, very good. That brings me to the next question nicely, Alistair, because the next question is about Androids. And
as the only Android user.
Yes, as the only Android user in Tuminds, which I'm delighted you are actually, because the next question, I think it came, probably Emma knows, but it came through Instagram last week, Emma, the video question?
Yeah, I think it was from Instagram. From
Instagram, yeah. Any video editing apps on Android?
Yeah, it's actually one of the things we get asked, or I get asked a lot in workshops as well. Is because normally when you look up editing apps, the articles at least are almost Apple aimed or Apple driven. So from an Android perspective, there's a couple which are kind of cross, so Android and iPhone. But the ones that I use personally are Quick, which is made by GoPro, Vimeo Create, and Power Director are the 3 that I use. My kind of go-to is normally Vimeo Create, which is made by the same people as own Vimeo.com. Some of you might know it as the kind of YouTube alternative. One of the reasons that I like it is similar to a lot of the almost Instagram content apps. Vimeo Create has templates that you can easily make quite stylish looking videos quite quickly.
Excellent. And I think I've put up the slides now. Yeah,
yep.
The slides of all the things. I love Quick. It does what it says, you know. You can make quick videos. The video editing is a bit limited in that sense. However, that's where Splice for an iPhone comes in. And because I'm not an Android user, but Alistair is, he had a look at the different sort of platforms. I think Power Editor is very good, like you said, and Vimeo Create. And I've got myself one that I use on the iPhone as well, is Viva Video. These platforms, Alistair, are these free?
As far as I'm aware, Quick is completely free. I'm sure Emma can correct me on that one. I know she uses Quick quite a bit. Vimeo Create, as far as I'm aware, is free on Android, or at least it was for me when I got it. Power Director has almost like bolt-ons or add-ons that you can buy, similar to almost like Canva, where they're credit-based, but it's small spend is probably the best way to put it, a couple of pounds kind of thing.
Okay.
Power Director is probably the closest thing that I found to almost like a desktop editing suite. So it can be a little bit kind of tricky or footery on a smaller screen. So if you are looking at Power Director, it might be easier on an Android-based tablet than an Android phone.
And just for the iPhone users as well, we should maybe say Splice is my favorite one. That's the one that I use all the time for creating videos. Apparently now you have to pay for it. It was free, but now there's a cost to use it. Unfortunately, it's.
I always wish that I could have got it on Android. I don't know why it's never been available on Android, but yeah, I was always quite jealous when you were doing video editing on your phone. And
yeah.
I had to look for alternative solutions because I always thought Splice looked like a really nice interface.
Yeah, definitely. I started off with iMovie and then I moved to Splice and just had I liked the amount of different options for music and that kind of things as well. But yeah, I did a workshop. Was it last May? I did the video one, or September, and I had said Splice is my favorite, and then realized when people went to download it that they then had to pay for it now. So just to make people aware of that.
Excellent, very good. And I'm just while you were talking, I was looking at the comments. Hi, Gilda Westerman. Nice to see you again. Verity is online as well. Planet Scotland, welcome guys. And John Murray. John is. I hope John, you were in time to see my Dutch biscuit. It's not like cake, but I hope I hope it does something. Vivian, happy Easter for yourself as well. John Murray on Twitter and LinkedIn. And John Gel, I'm confused about. That's a good question. Emma and Alistair. I'm confused about the video length for social media. Had understood that short was good, meaning less than 1 minute, but also heard that Facebook prioritized longer videos. I'll start myself, Emma and Alistair, and hopefully you can jump in as that. It's a combination of things. I think short videos, shorter than a minute, are very good on Instagram, obviously, and on Twitter. Longer videos on Facebook get indeed much more importance than the short videos. So again, it's optimizing the videos for the platform in these things. And we've been working with the clients over the last couple of months who are indeed getting professional videos made. It's a good time of the year to think about videos, and although they're getting a film crew in, probably not in the next couple of months. However, I've suggested to them as well, if you get professional made videos, make sure you have shorter videos, shorter than a minute, shorter than 30 seconds, but also 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, because you can optimize it for YouTube, for Instagram, for Twitter, etc., etc. And the shorter ones, I would say, are much more the teaser videos. You know, you share them on Twitter, on Instagram, just to create awareness of that, and then you can drive them to a longer version of that as well. Alistair, anything to add to that?
Do you have anything else to? I think you said what I would have said.
Yeah,
as well.
I pretty much covered what I would say as well.
Yeah, I think just depending on the content, because there are, like, as a using Facebook myself, there are videos that I do watch that are longer ones, depending on what the content is as well.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. And I do watch myself more and more of the video content on Facebook as well, and I think the importance, if you do have longer videos, you have to make you have to be engaging in the first 10, 20, 30 seconds, because in that time frame, probably 10 seconds, I'm going to make a decision: is this a worthwhile video to watch for the next 3 or 5 minutes, or is this going to be a promotional video which I'm not very interested in? So I think focusing on Facebook on the longer videos, say 3 minutes, 5 minutes, but make it absolutely clear: if you watch this video, this is what you're going to get. It might take longer than a minute, but we'll get there. I think that's a good way of doing it. Video content, obviously, especially if you're trying to solve a problem, people can wait a little bit to see the problem, but don't wait too long with. I hate it when I see a video that someone promises me to sort of have a solution to this problem, but I first have to go to 2.5, 3 minutes about what the company does.
Yeah, the dreaded how-to guide that tells you first of all where you buy the product, all the other things that they've done in their life, what they had for their breakfast.
Yeah.
And you're like, so that one thing that I've come for.
Indeed,
yeah.
indeed. Yeah.
That to me is people almost trying to manipulate algorithms with longer content for the sake of it.
Yes, indeed. So hopefully that answers your question, John. Shorter videos work really well as teasing on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on Instagram. For Facebook, I know Facebook prefers longer video in this, and that makes sense. You know, if you're able to be engaging, be interesting, then by all means make longer videos, but promote them with the shorter videos. Gary, welcome as well, and you like quick as well, simple but great, absolutely. And Hazel Passmore, welcome Hazel. Talking about videos, I like to change my Facebook cover and use a video. Yes, that's also a very often asked questions, a frequently asked question about the video on the Facebook header, and I'll try to see if I can open up Facebook. Here we go. It's actually quite easy to do that. However, the size of the Facebook cover is quite an unusual size for video anyway. So I'll go to the Tuminds one and I'll share it. Here we go. So the video that we have indeed on our Facebook page, and hope you can see that. If you don't have a video, you can obviously click on edit and you can upload videos. Videos need to be between 20 and 90 seconds. It's a bit annoying because I've got a new Facebook layout, which shows the video. On the old layout, it showed it fantastically the whole size. Now I notice that with the new Facebook layout that some of you already have changed. Alistair and Emma, have you changed the layout to Facebook, the new layout?
Yes,
Still getting used to it. Mine won't change.
You haven't changed, Alistair, no?
Mine won't change.
Oh, right, okay.
Which is a bit frustrating.
It's we need to have a look at that because it's the length of the video is between 20 and 90 seconds. So it needs to be between 20 and 90 seconds. And you click on videos and then you select a video and you can change that. Out of my top of my head, I can't remember what the size was. I think it was 1600 by 900 or something, but we'll find that out. And most video formats are not that size, so you're going to end up with maybe text that looks great on the full video being sort of cut off at the end. I'll just show you what I mean with that. They have a lovely video as well. But some of the text later on in that video is sort of cut off because on the full version, you can see it later on, it looks great now, but on the smaller Facebook version, it sort of looks cut off. So hopefully that made sense. Oh, here we go. Hazel. So to get that video there, click on edit, upload videos, choose from videos. And be aware you can only upload between 20 and 90 seconds. You will get a sort of a screenshot where you can sort of move the video in that sense, where you want to see it, but that's where it goes. Okay. Hey, Swain. Oh, haven't seen Swain for a long time from Orkney. Great session, very clear, useful information. Thank you, Swain. And sorry we can't visit Orkney just now, but next time. What's the bar again called, Alistair? we definitely meet up in Helgies next time when this is all over. John, sort of related, possibly a bit wider question. Do you see the Zoom party type apps and takeaway continuing as a means of social interaction to the demise of pub restaurants post C19? Good question, John. I think when this is all over, people are dying to get to pubs, restaurants, and places where we can meet people, because after all this self-isolating, not seeing people, I think pubs, restaurants, and places where people gather are going to see a surge in uptake of they're going to be busier than ever. I would think. What do you think, Alistair?
Yeah, do you know, it's funny. I had a Zoom call with a client this morning, and she had actually said that once all this kind of nonsense is over and done with, compared to meeting at the office or having a Zoom call following up, that myself and you, Rennie, should go through and go through just for a coffee and a catch up, just so we can have some human interaction again. I would definitely agree. I think that even the short-term impact of people being kind of in captivity is that there'll be a swell of people going out purely because now you can go out. So yeah, I think that'll definitely change. Long term, I don't know. I think there'll be a lot of people that are enjoying this kind of conversation, but I don't think it would impact the kind of pub restaurant industry.
No. Emma, any?
Yeah, no, I agree with you guys. I think people will also maybe realize from a work point of view how much can be done this way, and maybe some things will change.
I think you're right. I think the way people use technology is changing, because we're forced to use technology nowadays, and people that might, and you see it already with Zoom and Facebook, Messenger meetings and all that sort of stuff, people are more getting familiar with the digital tools to communicate. Yeah. And I see it in my family as well. My parents, both in their 70s, and we're on Facebook chats celebrating my brother's birthday from all over the place, from family in Holland, Poland, and Scotland. My parents definitely, before coronavirus, if I would only suggest it, they would say, no, that wouldn't work. Now it's they're asking again, when are we going live? So I think there will be a change, a massive change in people using the technology to communicate with people. But we always say that at our courses as well. There's no replacement to face-to-face conversation. So I think, like Alistair said, this is. I think pubs and restaurants we're going to do really well. Just to move on, a couple of questions again. Emma, this one is for you. What is the negative element from Dizzy Smith? What is the negative element of a business Instagram account? We might have to move to this as we have our website's image gallery connected to Instagram, and we can't have hashtags automatically load up with a business account. So are there any negatives to a Instagram business account?
Well, when I've been writing about Instagram before, I remember reading lots of articles about it, and somebody saying, I think there was, some rumor that if you had a business account that you might not get as much reach or something, but that's the only thing that I ever read that was negative. And then lots of other articles saying that wasn't true at all. Yeah. And obviously with the business account, you get the contact buttons, you get the extra information in the profile, and you get the ability to check insights, which is really, really useful. If you don't have a business account, then you can't see which of your content's performing better than other posts, and you can also do advertising. So there's lots of benefits, I think, to having a business account. And certainly I always recommend, I think you guys are the same, always recommend that people do have a business account for Instagram. For
the business, indeed, yeah. The only downside that Instagram itself says, by converting your personal account to a business account, your content will be public. While if you have a personal account, you might have a private account where only people can request access to your photos. If you change from a personal to a business account, your photos, your content is going to be public, basically. Yeah. Cool. I hope that answers your question, Dizzy. Vivian, when I had to upload photos for the websites and for booking channels, I got myself in such a confused mess regarding pixel sizing and resizing. I now seem to have photos in numerous places. Was using Dropbox, but think I was finding PicMonkey the easiest. Any good suggestions to make my life easier? Yeah. We actually had that same discussion in our team as well not so long ago, because that's what tends to happen with photos, visuals. Some of the visuals are on my desktop, some of them are in one of my folders, some of them are in Google Drive, some of them are in Dropbox, some of them are in Slack, which we use as well. And I think having a central point where you save images for your website, but also for your social media, would definitely help. And if that can be a Dropbox folder, as long as because visuals can be reused. I mean, visuals that you use for Easter this year, next year you might want to use them again, and for Christmas, etc. It goes the same as well. And I think most of the time, especially if I speak about myself, when I'm thinking about content, it's finding the right sort of photos in the right sort of format, pixel size, etc., that I can use for social media content. Emma, how do you solve that problem?
I was just thinking probably a lot of my images are saved in Canva, because I use Canva more. I think she mentioned PicMonkey, but I use Canva for editing, so that they're saved in there. And then I also have different folders on my desktop, but also G Drive is the main place that I would save them as a central place.
Yeah. Canva, you mentioned, I think is a very good tool. I use PicMonkey myself as well, and because my visuals are all over the place as well, I recently started on PicMonkey. You can create folders as well, so you can save certain visuals that you have saved in certain folders. Canva, because of the optimizing your visuals for Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, etc., is I think a very good tool. And again, you can save them in folders as well. I think Emma, is that what you were saying?
I'm not sure. I'd have to have a look. It's just kind of all your saved files that I have. I don't know if you can put them in folders. I could look.
In Canva Teams, you can put stuff into folders.
Yeah, Canva Teams. Yeah. We after a fantastic conversation with Thea, who does the Canva workshops all over Scotland. She mentioned that to me as well. Yeah. So I use indeed Canva and PicMonkey to put my visuals to save them. And Canva, you can save your brand colors as well. If you have the paid version of Canva, you can also use certain fonts for that as well. And I use Google Drive to put visuals that I've used for Facebook advertising, for Twitter, for Instagram. I tend to put them in Google Drive as well. Okay. Questions are coming in fast and furious on Facebook. Let's see. Hazel. Oh yeah, Hazel. Capwing was mentioned to create videos. Would you recommend it? Capwing. Now, I've done a quick search on Google, obviously. Capwing. I've never heard of it. Anyone of you guys? Emma, Alistair?
No, I haven't.
Oh, on you go, Emma.
Capwing. Nope. Never heard of it, but
the only other time I've heard of it was from Hazel as well.
Oh, right.
I'd done a little bit of research. To me, it looks as though it's like a little bit of Canva meets video production.
Okay.
I know there's a free version and a paid version, but I've never personally tried it.
Let's see if I can share my screen. I've just did a Google search and went on the website. Capwing, where content creation happens for creating images, videos, and GIFs. That looks pretty good. Never used it, so we'll definitely gonna have a look at that. Start editing on Creator Workshop. We'll definitely have a look at it, and we'll feedback next week after we've tried it out ourselves. But you know, if it works for you, then why not? Looks pretty cool actually.
Yeah, be good to try it out.
The pricing, I always look at the pricing. Free, no watermarks. Yeah, 10 minutes long. Yeah, thanks for sharing that, Hazel. That's very good. We're definitely going to have a look at it. So unfortunately, I can't give you a lot of information on it because we've never used it, but we'll have a look at these things, and that's what we do almost on a weekly basis, daily basis. Is there's so many platforms, tools coming out nowadays that you know it's always good to, if you look at my phone, the amount of apps that I have on my phone, and no doubt Gary, Alistair, and Emma are be the same as well. It's just you just try out things, and if it works, it works. Sometimes I noticed another app that was mentioned yesterday, Quibi or something, but that's a sort of a video app, but it's not video editing, but costs quite a lot of money to use it, so I'm not going to use that. John, yes, initially, but long term. What does that mean? Oh yes, of course. It's referring to the face-to-face. But long term, yeah, long term, John, I think definitely more and more people will be using these tools, video conferencing, online chatting, definitely, and that's been on the horizon for a long time. You know, messaging was one of the trends that we put in the last 2 years. I think every year when we do a sort of what's hot in 2019 and 2020, online chat, online messaging, as more and more people are going to use these platforms. Okay, I really hope Zoom and other video channels persist after the pandemic. Yeah. Especially for geographical challenges, indeed. Also want to go to the bar. Me too, Swain. And Swain says, with Orkney Island Council, we've gone from about 20 users of Microsoft Teams to something like 400. Yeah.
Wow.
That's amazing. Microsoft Teams are very good for these. Okay, excellent. Very good. Thank you very much for sending in these messages. These are very good and keeping us up to date, keeping us up on our toes of the latest sort of trends. And I'm definitely going to have a look at Capwing, what that does. Selling webinars. Well, one question actually, Gilda, Gilda asked a question.
Yes, it was a couple of questions. I think she, thank you, Gilda, you left them just before before we went live today. She said, I'd love to find out more about the tech side of Facebook Lives. I'm making it work, but not to its maximum potential, and also how to publicize my Facebook page, which has great content at the moment. So kind of two parts to it. So yeah, so for Facebook Live, obviously, we are doing it through Zoom, which if people are interested, we're talking about perhaps doing a video showing you how to live stream through Zoom, which is obviously one way. But kind of tips for doing Facebook Live in general. I wrote a blog post, which I can link to in the comments here or afterwards, which just has some kind of tips for going live in general and making sure that you plan ahead, so you're not just jumping on your laptop and going live. I know that you wouldn't be doing that, Gilda, and I had a look at some of your videos, which were really good. But yeah, just in general, making sure that you have a plan for it. What are you going to cover in it? Who's the content for? And maybe having some sort of script or kind of points noted out to help you when you go live. Practicing, I always, obviously different for this kind of Q&A, but I used to go live on Facebook and Instagram when I worked in self-catering, to show people around self-catering. So I would always kind of have a practice run through just so I knew what I was going to say beforehand. And it kind of helps with nerves, because it's can be a little bit nerve-wracking doing these. And the biggest thing, I suppose, is announcing beforehand. So making sure that you're telling people when you're going to go live from your other platforms and from Facebook as well. So I don't know if anybody's following us on Instagram, but on Instagram we had some countdown stickers in our stories, and we were sharing it in the feed and in stories, encouraging people to ask questions. And yeah, the countdown sticker, kind of, you can get an alert to remind you that the event is happening. Last week we talked about Instagram in the updates. I think they had kind of shared a blog post about tips for going live on Instagram, which is linked to in the blog post that we wrote about our live video last week. So they had some good tips for going live as well, and they had some content ideas as well. I know, Gilda, you're not looking for content ideas for it, but just for other people, that was quite a good article to have a look at. Technical wise, making sure that you're checking your Wi-Fi connection and your sound and it's clear. Alistair and I have had issues with that once going live, so obviously that's really important. And then writing a good description and title for your Facebook live videos so that it can get found. But yeah, the blog post that Renee's showing has some tips which we can share as well. And actually I found another couple of good articles before we came on, so I can share the links to those as well.
Perfect. Excellent. The other in your blog post from last year, you put some links to other very useful websites here as well. I think I found this one very good as well. Facebook Live. How do you do it on a phone? How to do it on desktop? They give you some very good tips there as well. And I think exactly like Emma said as well. I think the announcing the fact that you're going to do a Facebook Live is very important. And what we're doing with our Facebook Live is indeed a week before we're announcing the fact that we're going live, but people need reminders as well. And we always get a lot more questions and engagements even the day before when Emma has scheduled the post for yesterday, Easter Monday. On we're going to be live, we see a lot more engagement. So I think it's that sort of. You want to say something, Emma?
I was just thinking that some of the people that I like, Gilda, I think is doing like a regular one, and a few other people, businesses I was looking at. If you were doing it on a regular basis, you could even have a post or a video that you could pin to the top of the page saying when you're going to be live, just so that it's easy for people to find out, you know, going back to that kind of announce thing. And yeah, and the second part of her question was about promoting her page. So I was just going to say, and you guys will maybe have some other tips, but making sure that you're sharing your page from your other platforms, that you've got a link to your Facebook page from your website, in your email signature, and liking and commenting on other pages on Facebook as well as the business, which I think you're going to show just now, maybe, Rennie.
Yeah, indeed. Well, hopefully by putting it on the screen, Gilda, it would help you getting more visibility and likes. So this is your Facebook page, and I had a look when the question came in from you. I had a look at your page as well, and I think this is an interesting post, but no image. That has an image, but it needs to say a little bit more as well. So you're going to be live Wednesday at 9:30 in the morning. I need to set my alarm clock for that, because nowadays with the 9 to 5 work times are a little bit more different in lockdown than it is in real life. But yeah, sort of what do I get? What can I learn? What do I get if I log into on Wednesday at 9:30? So promoting the facts beforehand on the different platforms as well. Like I said earlier on, drip feeding, and the need to get more. Everybody wants more likes on their page. Which totally understand, but what we always say in our workshops as well, you know, it's not a numbers game. It's not about the quantity. It's about the quality of the page. Of course, you want more likes, of course, but you need the right sort of likes. So promoting your page through the obvious platforms like an email signature. Communicating with other pages, sharing So, for example, if sharing is obviously on Facebook the best sort of way to get more reach. If I want to share this, you make it a little bit more difficult because it's now I have to think about myself. What is this about? So if you want people to share your post, don't hesitate to ask people. I'm doing something for the good of people. I'm giving people some information. Feel free to share that, but also give a little bit more information about what people can expect when they log into webinars. Alistair, any other comments on that?
No, I think, to be honest, you've kind of covered between the two of you the points that I would have kind of put across. It's almost just remembering that just because your page exists, not everyone will find it. So making sure that you drive people to it is really important.
Yeah, and I think what's important is indeed what Emma said as well. Engaging with other pages, not as yourself, but as your business. So I've changed from my personal account to my business account, and I can like it, but I'm going to go one step further. I'm going to love it. Makes a little more bit of a difference. But I can share that as well. But if you want people to share your stuff, make it shareable in that sense. That's what I'm trying to say. So hopefully that helped you, Gilda. And a question from Hazel, and I was actually going to say that at the end, but Hazel beat me to it. Will the links be on the blog, Emma?
Yeah, from today.
Yeah.
Yes. So the blog post from last week is live, which René is showing you, with all the links and the questions that we covered. And I'll do the same again today. I'll just afterwards write a note of what we covered and any useful links.
Yeah.
If you watched last week and you read the blog post, let us know if you found it helpful.
Yes, indeed. So Emma spent quite a lot of time on after the first Facebook Live last week on creating content about that. So sharing the questions, but also sharing the links that we've used, and Emma's going to do that again for this one. So yeah, Hazel, come back to your questions. Yeah, everything that we do here today, we will share the links with that as well. Look at those happy people. Cool. Is creating Facebook events, Swain, thank you very much. Is creating Facebook events for Facebook Live sessions a good thing? Any downsides? That's a good question. Creating Facebook events for Facebook Live sessions. Any immediate response on that, Emma or Alistair? If not, I'm happy to start. I'll start. I find it a very good question, Swain, because I always say, putting up an event on Facebook can actually backfire if not many people say I'm interested. So we are a bit hesitant with that. If it's not an event that you've got a feeling a lot of people will go to that event or have an interest in the event. I mean, if I see an event on Facebook and one person is interested, I don't get a good feeling about that event in that sense. So that's what I would find the downside is, and not everybody would say I'm interested in that sense. So getting not a lot of engagement on your Facebook events is probably a downside for me, I would say. Emma?
I was just thinking that I've never seen an event created for a Facebook Live before, and obviously at the moment I'm watching a lot of Facebook Lives with my children at home. So there's zoos that are live streaming, going live, and there's lambing events that are live at the moment, and so Glasgow Science Museum, and so I'm watching lots of live, probably more than I have before because of the situation. But I've not seen anybody use a Facebook event for that. So it's just not something that I'd really.
No, well, definitely have a look on that question. But that's what my feedback would be on the Facebook events. Anything else, Alistair?
Yeah, I actually had that question in the last the last video workshop that I did, is why do people not create events for them? And the example that I used, it was exactly what you said, Rennie, was just that if you don't get a lot of people signing up, it can almost be a turn off.
Yeah.
And the 5 people that are interested might be like, oh, well, no one else is going to watch that. Maybe I won't bother either.
Yeah.
And it can create that almost negative kind of stigma around your content, which potentially could backfire. And kind of similar to what Emma was talking about, we were doing the Joe Wicks PE stuff with the kids. And if you think of the sheer numbers of people that he's got as well, and he's not even kind of gone down that event route, that in my head, there must be a reason why people aren't doing it. I just don't know the exact reason that they don't do it.
Yeah, perfect. Excellent. Thank you very much, guys. And Gilda is asking, will that be on your Facebook site? I guess that's referring to that's fab on the blog post. So yeah, we will share the blog post on the Facebook page as well. So Gilda, thank you very much. I hope it's good to see you found it useful. Cool. I value the reminders which events give, Swain says. That's quite good. Yeah, that's from that sense, that's quite good. Yeah, if you sign up to an event, it will give you those reminders in that sense. So yeah, from that sense, that's a bonus. But I think you can achieve the same with sort of post it on your Facebook page as well. Although obviously the reminders are automated in that sense. Cool. Okay, I think we've gone through most of the questions. I mean, we can keep doing this for the next couple of hours probably. However, I'm aware both Emma and Alistair have kids to look after. And
I'm more amazed that neither of my kids have. I had to run away once because I was told that the iPad was too loud outside my door. But I'm amazed that they've managed to stay away for so long. I'm a little bit nervous.
Yeah, you better check on them.
They're probably drawn on the wall or something.
Yeah. So I'm going to share a couple of things that I've noticed this last week that's caught my eye, and Emma and Alistair might jump in on that one as well. We're not going to spend a lot of time on it because we're almost live for an hour, a little bit less. But that will be in the blog post, so we'll share the links in the blog post. So what I noticed on LinkedIn, talking about events, LinkedIn events are now available online. So I actually created on LinkedIn an event about this AskTuminds week 2. So something it's actually optimized for real life events, so not really the webinars, but it's for visiting events in that sense. But it's a good sort of initiative, I think, from LinkedIn to sort of announce webinars in that sense as well. So that's available. If you have a company page, you need to have a company page on LinkedIn. And I'll share that with you as well. The other thing I noticed, which I thought was actually a very good idea, that was shared by Hotel News Scott, which I follow. Inspiration for hotels wondering how best to showcase the property for prospective clients during lockdown. The virtual tours, of course, nobody is in the hotel or the self-catering or the B&B. I think now is the time to create virtual tours, video tours of your property. It's probably a good way to create contents that can be useful later on when we're all out of this. So I thought these are the 2 things that I've noticed. Emma?
I think it was just the Instagram. Instagram's added direct messages to the desktop version, which is great. I went onto the desktop today and noticed that it was there. So yeah, just makes things a bit easier, I suppose, if you like to use desktop, that you can see all your messages there, because obviously before you used to have to go into your app to see them, and also the new thank you hour sticker for stories. So this is kind of following on to the cause stickers that they've added recently, the stay at home and the thanks health heroes. So so they've basically got a new thank you hour where you can show your gratitude for what's helping you through this time, and then it all kind of gets collected into a general thank you hour story. I think it's 7 o'clock each evening. So that's another new thing.
Excellent. Very good. Cool. Well, thank you. Alistair, anything to
Actually, the only other thing that I'd noticed was, again, it's an Instagram update. Actually, they seem like to be churning out updates at the moment. Is that they've also added the live video streaming to the desktop version as well.
Okay.
So if you do follow anyone or you plan on doing live video streaming through Instagram, you now no longer need to kind of sit in front of like your kind of small phone side of things. You can watch it on a screen, which is quite nice as well.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it's good to see all these platforms adding new functionalities, because more and more people spending more time online, and I always get a shock. Well, I always got a shock anyway when I check my iPhone online usage. Thinking, really, do I spend 3 hours per day on the phone? Well, it's gone up dramatically in the last couple of weeks. I'm not gonna say how much hours I spend on the phone, but it's quite a lot.
we have a business reason for it.
Yeah,
we're researching all the time.
Indeed. And that's a good way to end this, because we are researching things all the time. So next week we will have more tips of what has changed on the different sort of platforms. We will deal with all your questions that are coming in using the hashtag AskTuminds on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can use them on Facebook as well, or on LinkedIn. But like I said, I'm not a big fan of hashtags on Facebook. So Twitter and Instagram would be our preferred channel. Direct message, email, even email could work. Yeah, cool. So thank you very much for being with us. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. Thank you for all the comments, the nice messages and everything. Hope to see you again next week. We're back to a usual time, I would say at 2 o'clock. Thank you to Alistair and Emma and their family for keeping the kids under control and better check on them when we finish. Thank you very much. Hope to see you back next week, and keep those questions coming. Emma, Alistair, thank you very much. Have a safe week.
Thanks for joining us, guys.
Thank you. See you
Take
next
care.
week.
Bye-bye.